we're back from our cattail gathering. We're back in the kitchen, and I'm gonna show you real quick how you can steam them or just stir fry them or even dry them. You can eat them raw. The problem with eating them raw is that they've been sitting in that murky water for a while, and so if the cattail hasn't been broken, like if you had a clean cut, you can definitely just cut off the cut end that could have been contaminated in the water, peel out the outside leaves, and then really rinse off really well the inside leaves. That should be okay. But you can never be sure that there's nothing like giardia or other kind of bacteria in the water, and so it's a lot better, in my opinion, to cook them if you can. If you happen to be camping out in the woods or somewhere and you come across cattails, what you can do is just to keep the whole thing whole like that, and then you can throw them on hot coals, and they will steam themselves pretty much. They have a lot of water on the outside, so they steam themselves. When they're nicely steamed, you can peel off the outside leaves without burning yourself. You can discard, and then you're left with the inside that you just eat. Like I said earlier, it may be difficult to explain, what's edible and not edible on the cattail in terms of outside leaf versus inside leaves. But you can actually listen. If you take this one and you can squeeze the end part of it, doesn't make any noises, that's the edible part. If you take the other side of it, it's like all this foamy stuff that is not really good to eat at all. And so you can figure that out by pressing it a little bit, or when you eat it, it's kind of the same thing. The bottom part kind of dissolves in your mouth sort of, and the top part is really chewy and you just have to spit it out. Another little thing that I want to show you is that when you break off the stem from the root, there's this big node that kind of gives rise to the stalk, and that's where a lot of the starch is. I don't know how well you can tell, but you can have the outside of it there, which is just the protection that you don't want to eat, and then all the inside, like that, is full of starch. And so we're gonna keep that and cook that up as well with the stalks. So I'll just cut it up. Here you can see maybe better, the outside rim, which we're gonna discard, and then the inside is all this starch, just a lot of it. And the outside can be removed pretty easily. And it's not going to kill you or anything. There's a little bit of this, just not very palatable. But there you go, you had the little small potato sort of. You can just dice it up. And then we'll throw them into the pan as well. And then the rest, you can either cut in small parts like that, like you would asparagus maybe, and that'd be fine. You can keep them whole as well if you want. You can also cut them, really small, of course. And if you want to dry them, we have a few dried ones here from last year. If you want to dry them, you can cut them small and then just leave them on a drying tray somewhere. They dry very fast and they dry into nothing pretty much, but those are good to add into stew later on in the year. But I think those we're just gonna cut them like that. And again, you can hear the difference in the sound. It was a really crisp sound before, and then this part is just a more crunchy sound. So we're not gonna eat that because that's the foamy thing. Something here.
So you can eat your cattail shoots in soups and stews and that sort of thing. We simply like to put ours in a pan with some hot butter and stir fry them up. And this isn't something you have to cook for a long time, just something you want to kill off the bad guys that might possibly be there and just soften them up a bit. So we'll just stir fry these for a couple of minutes and then enjoy them as is.